This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. I'm Sal Berry, and with me is Tim Parrish. And today we're going to talk about the 2025-26 Allure Hockey Cards. And we're also going to talk about a big trade that happened in the NHL recently. And we're also going to talk about a fun autograph story or funny autograph story. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But Tim, how are you this fine evening as we record in the evening, although people might be listening in the morning, but right now it's the evening.
I would say I'm dangerously close to fabulous.
Wow. That's so unlike you. Is everything okay? Is the real Tim here or
Yeah, but I've been watching the Olympics, so I learned that from watching figure skating. So,
that everything is
but
everything
yeah.
is
I'm good
fabulous.
though. Yeah, I'm good though.
Yeah, no, that's good. I
I
know
have
you're
nothing bad to say.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
No one listens anyway.
Well, yeah, I want to ask you about the Super Bowl because you're a bigger football fan than I am. Me being
Sure,
like,
ask me about it.
what did you think of the game?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, really? Because you just didn't have a vested interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so here's how it went. I didn't know it was on. Not that I didn't know that the Super Bowl was being played, because how could you not? But I didn't know what time the game started.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing stuff throughout the day, and I was actually busy loading cards most of the morning, and then did stuff later in the day. So I didn't really know what time it was on, and I was watching the Olympics earlier, and so was my wife. And then my kids were texting me something about somebody doesn't sound good, and I don't know why they're playing that or something. I'm like, I don't know what you guys are even talking about. And of course, I realized it was the Super Bowl, and they were talking about Green Day performing, I guess, before the thing started.
Mm-hmm.
Again, wasn't watching. So I decided, okay, I guess I better flip over to see what's going on. And I turned it on right as they were doing the coin flip.
Mm.
I watched it from the coin flip until Seattle kicked their field goal after their first possession. So that was, 3 minutes into the game?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and after that, I flipped it back over to the Olympics, and I never turned the game back on.
No, that makes sense. I will usually watch the Super Bowl just because, unless I have something else going on. And it was funny when I was in college, like none of my roommates were really sports guys. Like, so none of us watched the Super Bowl. Like we'd either be playing video games or we just had like music on and we're doing other stuff. And I think I said, oh guys, hey, the Super Bowl's on. And then one of my roommates looked at me and said, who gives an F? And then that was it. You know what I mean? Like nobody cared. But actually, I tuned in early because I wanted to see Green Day because they're a band that I've liked for, over 30 years now. So, but the game itself was boring. It was just honestly, it was just sports for me to have on so that I could sit and sort cards while I have the TV on. So that's kind of what it was like for me. I just sat at my coffee table, sorted cards, and had something to kind of watch that I could kind of half pay attention to, if that makes sense.
I mean, if you like defense, I guess based off of the defense and the few highlights that I saw after the fact, I mean, that was most of the game. And I do like defense because defense wins championships, and there's another example of it right there.
Right.
This was the first year I have not watched the Super Bowl.
Okay.
That I can remember, going back to 87, 88 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't recall a Super Bowl that I didn't watch. So if I'm missing one, it's probably because I'm old and my memory doesn't work like it used to. So. And I didn't watch it because of the controversy thing. I didn't watch, it had nothing to do with any of that.
No.
It just had to do with, I was disinterested, first of all.
Right.
I wasn't interested in the teams. I really wasn't interested in the commercials anymore because you could watch them all ahead of time. And plus 30,000 or YouTube accounts post all the commercials.
Right.
So you could just watch them on there, which, by the way, I thought the State Farm one was the funniest. The one
with Bon Jovi.
Yeah, and Danny McBride and
Was that Will Arnett?
Well, the Key and Peele guy, I forget it.
Yeah.
Keegan Michael Key, I think.
Yeah.
And they're like doing the metal band.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny, but
yeah, that was good.
And the Dunkin' commercial was interesting until it got too weird with the AI.
Well, the thing is that it wasn't. I didn't even mind. Like, I was just like, oh, cool. It's Carlton and Urkel together, and this is cool. But it was like the commercial itself was so unfunny, and it wasn't very clever. So I just wasn't like it was a waste of AI, a waste of digital effects, if you will. I mean, because they've been doing this stuff for a while now in movies, you know what I mean? So we say, oh, everything's AI, but I mean, you go back, 6-7 years, and you had them de-aging Mark Hamill to play Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian, or using a stunt double but still using Mark Hamill's likeness, you know what I mean? Or de-aging Samuel L. Jackson in the Miss Marvel movie, because it takes place in the 90s, so he's supposed to be like a younger Nick Fury before he had the eye patch and he still had hair and all that stuff, right? So I mean, they've been doing this for a while, but it just wasn't interesting. Like you said, it got too weird, or just, I don't know.
It was like a bad SNL skit, or as I like to call it, any SNL skit since 2000.
Now, how could you say that? Because you had the Chronicles of Narnia rap, and that was 2004. And that's one of the best Saturday Night Live skits.
Well, I'm old school, so.
In fact, that is the skit that put YouTube on the map. YouTube did exist before that SNL skit, but the next day everybody was trying to find it on YouTube. And that's really what made YouTube that was the one video that made people say, hey, let me see if I can find this video to show you. It was so funny. So
wasn't the cat playing the piano? I always feel like that's the first video.
It could have been, but what I'm saying though is that
that's the most famous one that got people.
Well, that's what got people there. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the best video or the most popular video, but it's the video that got people to basically start searching for it, online, as opposed to, hey, look at this funny video of this cat, or, oh, my friend sent me this video of this cat and it's funny, right? Before we change the subject to what we're here to talk about, you mentioned the Olympics, and I did watch some of the Olympic coverage after the Super Bowl. And of course, it was on tape delay. And I'm watching the skiing, and they're saying, oh, Lindsey Vonn, the famous downhill skier, and PK Subban's ex-fiance, because they were engaged for a while, and she's making a comeback. And right out of the gate, she falls and breaks a leg, and they have to airlift her, literally airlift her on a stretcher with a helicopter off the ski range. And I'm just like, wow, that was horrible.
Yeah, since everything's on a delay in prime time, so anybody watching in prime time, don't look at your social media.
That was a gut punch, though.
But yeah, so that happened early in the day, and I had already seen all of it, and they only showed it one time, and they showed the replay.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to find the video, you had to go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife didn't see it. I'm like, did you see Lindsey Vonn wreck? She's like, because of her leg injury? I'm like, no, this was something totally different. She was actually trying to compete because she has no ACL. She blew out her ACL completely.
Right.
But she was going to play anyway. Or play or compete. I guess
compete. But I knew what you mean. It's fine.
She was going to compete anyway, but she was going to put a brace on. And I mean, look, call it what you want. Athletes that love to do what they do, they're going to find a way to do it. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, and no one's going to tell them not to. But yeah, I mean, she was hitting those bumps a little too rough, and she hit that flag and
Yeah.
just went, and that was it. It was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I saw
She
that.
hit her head like twice. If you saw her flip, like she came down on her head, and then when she flipped back around, like her head was like underneath her. I was like, she's got to have a concussion or two.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. But
I joke about like how people watch NASCAR and they go crash, 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 and people watch hockey and they go fight, fight, fight. And they watch figure skating and they go fall, 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 but not really, right?
That's me.
But like,
I do that on figure skating.
right, but like I enjoy skiing. Like I've actually the first Winter Olympics I really watched like was probably 92, and not just the hockey. I watched what I could watch, and like I remember watching skiing, and it's just amazing that people can do this at such high speeds and those jumps, and then they land on their skis. And yeah, when she fell, I was just like, ooh. Like I was just like everybody got quiet, and like I said, it felt like a gut punch, and I would have felt like that about anybody. But I mean, this is like somebody who's like a legend in the sport, one of the greatest American skiers, and and it's just like, oh, you hear, oh, she's making a comeback after 6 years, and I'm like, please do good, and then because if you do bad, then everybody will be like, she shouldn't have made that comeback. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, they were already saying it because of the injury.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. But you know what? If she finished fourth, people would have said, all right, she didn't medal, but she finished, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Like,
well, look at any ball type sport. How many athletes are just past their prime and just keep milking it for all it's worth to the bitter end because they love it. You can't pull them away. I mean, we had Phillip Rivers come back in football, and he hadn't played in years. Mm-hmm. And, he played back in the NFL again. So, you have Aaron Rodgers, who it's every year. Is he going to retire? Is he going to retire? We don't know. You have guys in hockey that just play forever.
Jonathan Taves.
Yager won't retire. Ever.
Yager won't retire, and Jonathan Taves comes back after like 2 years.
So if it's in your blood, it's in your blood, and you're never like. I feel that way about Crosby. I feel like he's never going to retire.
Yeah, but Crosby's still playing at a high level.
He is, but I mean, again, eventually your body's going to give out. I don't care what kind of trained machine you are. Eventually, the time's going to catch up. The game's going to pass you by. The speed of the game passes you by, and your body gives out. It's inevitable. I mean, these guys last longer than maybe you or I would, but it is what it is. But I give her credit for trying what she tried, and it's unfortunate the way it ended like that. But yeah, I do find myself cheering for the falling and skating, but I don't know if that's because I'm just a horrible person, or that's probably why it is. But I really watch the hockey. I watch all the hockey, and I watch all the curling. Because curling is just fascinating to me. And this year I've been very focused on speed skating for some reason. I'll let you all figure that out. So anyway, let's go on.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to talk about in this episode. We're going to talk about Artemi Panarin getting traded to the Los Angeles Kings. We'll talk about Macklin Celebrini signing 4 of his cards as Chester, and which is kind of a funny story, kind of an odd story. And then we're going to do our review of 25-26 Allure Hockey Cards. Panarin getting traded to the Kings. So we knew Panarin was going to get traded. Kings are retooling. They're not rebuilding. They're retooling, or so they say. They're not doing really well. They weren't doing really well out of the gate. There was that stretch of games at the beginning where they couldn't score a goal at home. They were scoring on the road, but not at home. They finally kind of started to turn things around a little bit. Then Shesterkin gets hurt. Jonathan Quick has been a workhorse for them, but struggling because Quick is, late 30s now. I think he's like late 30s, and he's playing very well as the backup goalie. He's playing very well when he comes in, or if Shesterkin's struggling, Quick could come in and be the starter for a couple of games, like, play as the starter, with Shesterkin as the backup until Igor gets it figured out. But now it's like with Quickie having to do like most of the games, and the Kings not really having a reliable third string goalie. They've been on a downward spiral, and they knew they weren't going to re-sign Panarin. They bench him, or what did they call it? They like non-hockey related. They scratched him, or I don't know what they called it, but basically they just didn't play him. Not injury related. They didn't play him because they were going to trade him, and so they did to the Kings. And this is just a really strange trade. Like, is this a blockbuster trade? Does a blockbuster need to have like two big pieces going in either direction? I mean, we look at the Quinn Hughes trade, and Minnesota gave up some pieces to get Quinn Hughes. So, that I feel like that feels like a blockbuster to me. This kind of felt like, okay, well, this is a good enough offer. So the Rangers traded Panarin to the Kings. The Rangers get right-wing prospect Liam Greentree, who was the first round 26th overall pick by the Kings in the 2024 draft. And in a conditional third round pick in 2026, that could become a second round pick depending on how far the Kings go in the playoffs, and in a conditional fourth round pick in the 2028 draft. And I think that's conditional again on how far the Kings go in the playoffs. So if they flame out after the first round or in the first round, then they don't give up as high of picks than if they go further. So Panarin re-signed right away, 2-year, $22 million extension, so $1 million a year. It's about what he's making now. Funny thing is that I looked at Puckpedia, and it looked like the Rangers retained half the salary. I don't know if that's looks like because I said he can't be making $5.5 million a year, but then I thought, oh wait, no, he's making 11 a year, and then the cap hit's only 5.5. So I think the Rangers retained some of that, and then I don't know. I mean, is this Tim? What do you think about this? And do you think that Panarin could help the Kings? And what do you think of this trade?
He could absolutely help the Kings. They needed more firepower up front, and that's exactly what they get. This was a trade. I guess the best way to describe it is it's a trade of necessity, because bottom line is the Rangers already reached out to Panarin's camp over the summer and kind of hinted that, hey, you think he's willing to take a haircut to stay here and we can re-sign him. And he didn't want any part of that. So, I mean, that gave them the idea that he isn't going to stick around. So what do? Hold on to him in hopes that he has a change of heart, or lose him in free agency over the summer, this coming summer? I mean, that's silly. If he's not going to sign in New York again, then you better figure out what you can do to get the most out of a trade. And I mean, look, we jokingly talk about the shambles that the Rangers have been in over the last few years. Another retool letter was sent out to fans in the middle of January. It's like the second time in a couple years that they've, or maybe it's been longer than that, but time flies when you're having fun, right? When you send a letter to fans from your organization that apologizes for your lack of success and basically talks about the whole team being put through the ringer of going through a rebuild or a retool, I appreciate the transparency, but come on. Like, that's crazy. So, obviously you meet with the guy, you tell him you want him to be there. he was the leading scorer for what, 7 seasons on the Rangers?
Something like
Team
that,
scorer?
yeah.
Yeah. So, and you basically tell him, hey, if you will work with us, we'll keep you around. And he says no. I mean, you're left with no option. Now, he had a full no movement clause, but you have a lot of power with that. You can dictate where you go. And despite all the offers that Drury was fielding from all these teams, Panarin said he wanted to go to LA. You had no choice. So what are you going to get in return? You look at LA, you look at what's on their roster, you see what they're willing to give up. I mean, Panarin's obviously worth at least a first round pick and some change to throw in on the back end. So they got their first round pick there with Greentree and a couple of extra picks thrown in on top of that. The thing that shocks me is that he signed the 2-year extension so quickly. And I don't know what the motivation was there. Because if he really wanted to go to LA, they probably could have worked something out after the end of the season. I feel like, just knowing kind of historically how Ken Holland works as a GM, I sort of feel like he saw the writing on the wall that if Panarin gives them that boost to push them into the playoffs and possibly further, the price tag would just go up over the summer. So, I mean, it's smart. It's smart, right? Because you've got older guys on your roster, offensive type guys that are going to be gone at the end of the season. Namely, the Anze Kopitar retirement tour that's been going on all season.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, they got Corey Perry slotted as their top left wing or second left wing.
Yeah,
so,
and
I mean,
it's always a wild card because you don't know which Perry you're going to get. Are you going to get the Perry that goes out there and mucks it up and spends more time in the penalty box, or are you going to get the Perry that chips in, helpers like almost on a nightly basis?
Yeah, or plays on the power play and gets those goals. Yeah, those goal mouth goals. Yeah,
you've got a perennial Norris candidate in Drew Doughty, but he's no spring chicken. I mean, he's still an Olympic level defenseman, but you're aging out, right? We're a long way from the Kings Stanley Cup seasons, so to get them back in contention, I think that this was a good move for them. And to answer that last question, is it going to help the Kings? I think it will. I really do, because now you've got a motivated offensive scoring forward.
Well, I think
on a team that he wanted to be on.
And I think that because he wanted to be on the team, and I think because the team said, hey, okay, we'll sign you to this deal, and they worked out a deal so quickly. So, yeah, that was kind of weird that they signed him so quickly. But, yeah, you're right. If he got that UFA status, then he, tests the water, and then somebody offers more money, and then he goes, might say, oh, well, Detroit's offering me 12, and I'd get to play with Patrick Kane, and that might be cool. Well, though we saw how well that worked out in New York, but then again, Kane had that knee injury. But, nonetheless, so, I mean, you have that kind of motivation of this team, this is the team that I want to be with, and this team wants me, and they're going to keep me around. So I'm in for the next two and a half years, So I think back to how the Kings looked poised to beat the Oilers, remember? And then they challenged that call back in the playoffs. Was it the most recent playoffs where they looked like they were going to take a lead, but then you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, that was last season, I think.
Yeah. So they looked like they were going to take a lead in the series, but then Edmonton scored a goal, and I think they challenged a goal or something like that. I don't know. I know it was after Marty McSorley's illegal stick. So it was sometimes between there and last season. You know what I mean, though? Like, it was just like, the Kings looked like they could compete. Like, those first couple of games, they were really putting it to the Oilers. And then the Oilers turned it around after that blown call or that ill-advised challenge. So having another, I'm not saying that Panarin would make up for a coaching mistake, but yeah, having another great player. The reason why I asked will he help the Kings is Panarin's 34. Unlike someone like a Crosby who's close to 40, and I think Crosby, I don't know. We don't know how long Crosby could play, but I could see him being one of those guys that play till 42 or 43 just because he's so good. And maybe he's not going to put up 50 goals. Maybe he's going to put in 15 goals and get, 55 assists or something. And that's still pretty awesome. You know what I mean? For a 40-something-year-old player. I'm just kind of projecting, right? But is Panarin that same type of, we're talking about 34 to 36. I feel like I don't know why anybody would sign a forward older than 30 to a high dollar contract, because I always feel that that's when they're on the decline. Yeah, every now and then you get a Marty St. Louis who will lead the league in scoring at 38 or whatever. Did he lead the league or in
You're
scoring?
talking about a player that's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yes.
So he had a Hall of Fame type career.
This is true.
If we're going to make that comparison, can we say that Panarin will probably also be a Hall of Fame type player?
Yeah, that's a pretty fair argument. He's more than a point per game player. And 800, I got it right here in, 804 games, he has 927 points. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily think, and, an off game here and there, or even an off week here and there is one thing, but I don't think he's losing steam at this point. Thing that always worries me about the Russian and the European type players is when they get towards the end of their career, they have family and friends and stuff back wherever they came from. And a lot of times they just want to go back there. Yeah. And so they'll finish out their careers the last couple seasons somewhere else. So when you sign guys to a long-term deal, and again, this isn't huge, it's only a 2-year deal.
2-year deal, right.
And guys playing late 30s into their 40s seems to be the norm anymore, especially for players that are still playing at an elite level. So I don't know that honestly, what the Kings gave up and the fact that they re-signed him quickly to get all the nonsense out of the way, I don't think that's a bad deal. I really don't. On the Rangers end, totally different conversation, because on one hand, I can be like all the detractors saying Chris Drury needs fired and he's running this team into the ground. And, you can go down the laundry list of things that Rangers fans think that he's kind of fumbled the ball on. But I think this was one of those cases where he was sort of backed into a corner and this was the best he could get. Just because there's that no movement clause. And that's rock solid in the NHL. I don't know how it is in other sports, but in the NHL, we've already seen if you've got a no movement, no trade, all of that kind of stuff, you're in control. You control all of it. And yeah, is it fair to the team or the franchise that you're playing for? Maybe not from a business standpoint. But again, that's the way you have to look at it. It's a business standpoint. You're doing what's best for you individually and giving yourself as much freedom and control over your own fate. So yeah, you got to kind of see both sides of it. And I think, I don't know. I don't fault Drury for doing this deal. Should he have asked for maybe another pick or maybe even another player, prospect guy in the AHL? Maybe. Would he have gotten it? I don't know. Probably not, because we see what he got. So.
Right. I thought Panarin would have been worth a first-round pick. Not a player who was drafted in the first round, but a first-round pick in an upcoming draft. But no, I guess not.
It's not like Green Tree is any slouch. To be a first-round pick, that's obviously a huge accomplishment, even if he was a late-round pick. but he's also young. He's Liam Greentree, and he's also NHL green. So the fact that he was a 24 pick, it wasn't that long ago. So it's not like this guy's an aged out first rounder.
No, and looking at his stats right now in this season in the OHL with Windsor, he has 24 goals and 24 assists for 48 points in 37 games. Now,
so
he's an overager in the OHL, so he's 20, so he's a man among boys. But even let's look at his draft season. He put up 90 points in 64 games, so he's.
But that's what you want to see for a guy that's NHL potential playing at those levels,
right?
So.
Right, yeah. If they're 20 in the OHL and they're not doing good, that's not going to help you. But sometimes that couple extra years helps. I mean, I think DeBrincat had like an extra year or two in the OHL, and it worked out okay. Things worked out okay for him. So,
I mean, that was the reason why I was one of the only people that I could think of at the time that was kind of clapping about Gavin McKenna going to play in the NCAA. It's like you can go back to juniors and just dominate and destroy everybody you're playing against, or you can go play with like men. And then go to a restaurant and beat somebody up, but that's a different story.
I think though with that is a different story. I think though with there's two sides to this. Like if sometimes it's okay to go and be the best player and be like, okay, you're going to be the best player in this league. How far can you push things, right? But then it's like, what else can you accomplish, right? Like I think back, you look at like a certain player. Like I look at again, I hate to use these like 30 or 40-year-old examples because I really show my age. But like when Eric Lindros was drafted by Quebec and he wasn't going to play for Quebec. So he went back to the OHL for like 7 games. But what is he going to do in the OHL at 19, 18 going on 19, right? Like he already did everything he could in that league. So then he left and he went and he played for the Canadian I think he went back and he played for the World. Did he play the World Juniors that year? No, but he played for the Olympic team that year. Played for the Canadian national team, and he played in the '92 Olympics. So he's like 18 or 19 years old, and he's playing on the Olympic team. Because what is he going to do in the juniors that he hasn't already done? You know what I mean? So sometimes it just depends. Like if you have more developing to do, then yeah, that's fine. It's like okay, maybe you're too advanced to be in this league, but what can you do versus you've done everything you can do in this league, time to move on. And so I think that's why it made sense for McKenna, and that's why it's going to make sense for other players, because now they're going to challenge themselves to play against bigger, stronger, faster opponents, and not some 16 or 17-year-old kids, or I know they're not 16-year-old, 17 or 18-year-old kids.
Yeah, and McKenna's small too, so he needs to grow. He needs to bulk up and that kind of stuff. And, this helps put him in those types of training scenarios that these bigger guys are in. But I know you said you're aging yourself with the Lindros example. Lindros he's a freak of nature. I mean, him on Oshawa, like the year that you said he went and played for the Canadian national team was like, what, 91, 92?
Yeah.
He played 13 games for Oshawa that year and scored like 31 points in those 13 games. Like, I mean, he was dominated.
Yeah.
So he had 149 points the year before. That's like the season before that.
Mm-hmm.
So like those are freaks of nature. Another good example is Connor McDavid. I mean, he didn't go and play in another professional type league like that with the big boys, but he was NHL ready right out of the box. I mean, there's some guys that are like that, but some of these guys with all the skill and all the talent that come up through the junior levels, the one thing they're missing is the size. They're not big enough. So, but yeah.
Or even you look at Austin Matthews when he went and he played in the Swiss A League, right?
Yeah.
As a 17-year-old. Okay. I mean, that was an interesting move, but I mean, he played for the U.S. national development team, and he was obviously doing really good at that. And everybody thought, okay, this guy's probably going to go first overall, which he did, or he will in maybe 2 years, which he did. But yeah, so he went and played in a pro league because it was a bigger challenge than where he was currently at. And I think that's a good thing. I want to talk about this because you told me about this today. I had no idea about this because I live under a rock for like 6 days of the week. And then I say to Tim, hey, what do you want to talk about on the podcast? And he'll tell me all these things and I'll be like, what? No way. I had no idea. On some of them anyways, especially like the hobby stuff, because I'm so blissfully ignorant of a lot of these things. And I think sometimes ignorance
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. I mean, especially with like all these like social media chodes or hobby bros or whatever, and they just like they're doing all this nonsense, and it doesn't even affect me. Like I know a couple weeks ago we talked about shill bidding, the offensive shill bidding and the defensive shill bidding, and we made fun of it. We talked about it, but it was just like that really doesn't affect my day to day. It doesn't affect my life, and it doesn't affect 98 or 99% of what I do because I don't bid on these high dollar items, like these really high dollar items, you know. So sometimes it's okay to be ignorant or blissfully ignorant. But Macklin Celebrini, you told me about this, that he signed some cards as Chester Celebrini. And here's for those of you who are watching the video, here's some proof. Those of you listening to the podcast. So he signed 2 cards from one set and 2 cards from another set, 2 from the Cup and 2 from Stature. And he wrote Chester in quotes and then Celebrini underneath it. And I wasn't aware of this story. Like, why would he do that? So then I read up on it. And then you tell me, oh, yeah, that's fake news, by the way. So why don't you tell this story? What's fact? What's fiction? Because this is...
Well, the fact is, did he sign that? Yes, he did.
Yes.
In fact, there's photo evidence and video evidence of him actually signing those cards and signing it as Chester. Is Chester his nickname? Well, not so sure. So he put this on there, which is cool, right? We like to see stuff like this. We always talk about too many hockey players have no personality, and they say the same things all the time, and there's just nothing. So here's a young guy in the league. He's going to inject some personality, and he's putting his quote-unquote nickname. So he puts Chester. Well, the story goes that he was signing those because it was a nickname that was given to him from one Steph Curry. Those that don't know Steph Curry, he's a basketball player in the NBA, plays for the Golden State Warriors. Okay, what's the connection here? Well, a lot of hockey people know that Macklin Celebrini's dad has worked for the Golden State Warriors for I don't know how many years, but it's been many, many years. Players are keenly aware of Macklin Celebrini. There's been interviews with many players from the Warriors talking about him and his dad and all of that kind of stuff. So does Steph Curry know him? Probably. I mean, I don't know either of them to tell you that that's real, but the story goes that apparently he gave them that nickname because his hands were so filthy that it was like after you eat a big old bag of Cheetos. Cool. Great. Fun story. That's neat. Inject some personality. Problem is, apparently it wasn't true. Apparently this was something that was posted on somebody's Twitter page, I think, or X page or Instagram or something like that. And then it got reposted and then posted again, so on and so forth. And it just went from there. Got reported by The Athletic, the Bleacher Report. I think even supposedly Emily Kaplan said something about it from ESPN. So it kind of took on a life of its own, got back to Macklin Celebrini, and thus he signed Chester on his cards. So, yes, the story behind it's fun, but it's also based off of a lie. So, but it's kind of interesting. And I think the fake story mixed with the real story, I think these cards, considering there's only 2 of each of them, are going to be very, very highly sought after when both of these products, go out into the world.
Well, it looks like according to this article, if this is true, it says that 2 have sold on eBay since November of 25. The latest Chester card, a 2024 Upper Deck, the Cup Baroque Auto numbered 71 out of 99, sold for $10,866.12 on January 15th. A stature Chester inscription numbered 71 out of 199. Sold for $3,052 on November 5th, 2025.
So there you go. I mean,
well,
yeah.
So
you somebody out there bought a $3,000 and a $10,000 lie.
I will say
it's still cool though. I think it's still kind of funny.
If that becomes his nickname, I like it. Okay, because I don't like, we talk about hockey players not having personality or basically having the personality, basically drummed out of them, right? I mean, look, William Nylander, wears a tank top and $10,000 jeans to walk in at a Maple Leafs game, and people are criticizing him. Oh, the players need to go back to wearing suits. Okay, so which is it? They don't have enough personality, or they have too much personality, right? Like, that's just one thing though. The nicknames are always terrible. I mean, for everyone, Dale Howardchuk, who had the nickname of Ducky, or Ken Linsman, who had the nickname of Rat, we have Patrick Kane, whose nickname is Kaner, Jonathan Taves, whose nickname is Taser. I mean, it's always something. I mean, does Connor McDavid have a nickname, or is he just Connie, or you know what I mean? It's like,
most of us call him McJesus still.
McJesus, but that seems kind of sacrilegious. I don't know. But like, I don't know. Like, it's always
you add ER to the end. Is kind of
ER,
you shorten your name and add ER
or IE or Y. You know what I mean? So Jones becomes Jonesy, right? Or
like Nola Chari on the Penguins, they call him Cookie.
Okay,
that one's all right. I'm okay with that.
I'm intrigued. Do you know why?
I don't know why. I've never looked. I don't think I want to know.
Oh, okay, right. I mean, some of them just kind of make sense, like Jumbo Joe or the Big E, but or even the Big M for Frank Mahavlich, right? But I just, okay, so I like that. Okay, if his nickname's Chester, that's fine. What I don't like is that it's like that. I don't know. Like, it's easy to be critical, but I'm critical of a lot of these blogs like Bleacher Report, because they either, I don't say they make shit up, because they don't. I'm not going to say that either. But what I'm saying is just like, what's the original source of this quote? Nobody has that, right? And
no, it came out that Steph Curry said it, and then a bunch of places took it from there, and then it just kept perpetuating, and then that was it. Nobody really went back to talk to Steph Curry and say, hey, did you give him this nickname?
But he said it to somebody sometime, somewhere. But we don't know who, right? It's just like, so now it's based on hearsay.
Yeah, I saw this once, and I don't know. I can't look it up right now, but I don't remember who the original post was that was out on social media.
Well, I see on Twitter, Here on Bleacher Report Open Ice, they say here Steph Curry has an elite nickname for Macklin Celebrini, and this was posted on June 28th of 2024. And he says, maybe we'll call him Chester because his hands are so filthy, just like after eating a big old bag of Cheetos. Steph Curry and Macklin Celebrini. So that's their nice little picture that they made of and he's still playing for BU in this picture. But I don't know. So
yeah, and that had already been started by somebody else before that. And
right.
They just
so
kind of ran with it. And so
somebody said that Steph Curry said it, and then Bleacher Report is going to say, "Oh, Steph Curry said this," but they didn't find the original source of that quote. It's just somebody told me that you had a nickname.
Yeah. Well, satirical or not, it was made up, and it just gradually went from there. So that's the world we live in. So you don't know what's AI and what's not. You don't know what's made up and what's not.
Yeah.
We created this, so we have to live with it.
Yeah. I like it when players inscribe a nickname on a card. Anything that's above that usual squiggle that doesn't even look like much anymore. I mean, every now and then, of course, if you pull an old school player's autograph, it's going to look like a real autograph. But every now and then you get a newer player who signs a nice looking autograph. But when they put a little inscription or just something extra like that, I like that. I appreciate that. I kind of wish that would become a little bit more of the norm for these pack-in cards that you get in a product. But I know Panini did their social signatures, and I think that where people are putting their Twitter handles or whatever, and I think that was kind of a cool idea.
Well, Upper Deck used to do the notable nicknames or the famous nickname cards.
Mm-hmm.
I know they did it a lot back when they still had the basketball license, but and guys would sign their inscriptions on them. And they've done various times where they've done the sets where players put their social handles, or they put some kind of inscription. I think you have that Matthew Tkachuk card that's got "Go Flames" on it. That used to be mine.
Yeah, well, okay. To be fair, I was thinking of that, and I wasn't going to bring that up because now that he's on the Panthers, and really that's kind of where he's getting really to be known as a Panther. So it's I have this autographed Matthew Tkachuk rookie card, but it says "Go Flames" on it. So it just feels of course he's pictured as a Flame because that's who he was when he was with the Flames. But now I kind of almost wish that one was not inscribed, if that makes sense.
Well, and these, again, there's just two of each of these, right? The Celebrini ones we're talking about. So it's not like all of them in those print runs are signed that way. It's just a couple. So, right. And players do that in baseball all the time. You'll see them signing for Topps, and they'll take a few and they'll put some weird inscription on it. I don't remember who exactly it was, but I think one of the pitchers wrote something on the card if you find this card, call me, and he put his phone number on it or something.
Oh,
because he wanted to buy it back from whoever found it.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's stuff like that. I'm sure a breaker will pull it, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, let's just touch on this really quick because speaking of breakers, before we move on, I know that Alex Ovechkin buyback Young Guns rookie card that was they put 8 of them into 24-25 Upper Deck extended series, and they were numbered 1 out of 8, 2 out of 8, but then the one that was 8 out of 8 was signed GR8/8, grade 8 out of 8, right? Something like that. And somebody pulled it, and they're remaining anonymous. But so I wonder if it's someone with Fanatics. No, just kidding. But and
is that the one I sent out to you guys a week ago?
Yeah, I know it's old news, but that happened after we recorded last week's show.
No, I'm just, I know it's old news, but that's one of those ones that I guess was pulled in a card shop by a collector. So
It's just
what they
freaking
do with it
cool.
from this point on, I have no idea. But yeah, that's like 4, maybe 5 that have been pulled now of the
Mhm.
hand numbered. And I've only seen one that was with a breaker. I could be wrong because I don't see everything, contrary to popular belief. But I think collectors actually pulled most of them. So,
Wow. What a card
which,
to well, because breakers don't like extended
yeah,
series.
breakers haven't traditionally liked extended, and this was the whole point. Let's put something in there that causes people to buy their allocations. So, that was the thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just whether you see it as a gimmick or not, it sells. That's it. It just sells. That's what it's
Yeah.
for.
All right. Speaking of selling, some new cards came out recently. Well, new cards are always coming out. And by the way, thanks to Tim. Tim is the one who updates the release calendar on the Puck Junk newsletter. I don't know how you keep track of all of that stuff, dude. My eyes crossed just from looking at that list, and you sent me like the updates, and I'm like, wow, this set went from December to March, and this set went from March to February, and they're just all over the place.
I use a bunch of different sites and I cross reference, and whoever has the majority, that's what I go with.
Yeah, no,
there's no real science to it.
No, it's okay though, because I mean, they'll announce a date and then another date comes out, and you're really on top of that. So thank you. You can thank Tim for that. What's that?
I try to be as thorough as I can when I can.
Well, we do. We try, but it's a moving target,
Yeah.
So 25-26 Allure Hockey Cards. I got a box recently. I opened the box. I think I opened it during one of the last NHL regular season games before they went on break. I think I was like watching hockey, opening hockey cards. Of course, there's only 8 packs in the box, so it was pretty quick to open. But this season's Allure came out January 14th. Cost is about $150 for a hobby box, maybe a little less, $145 or thereabouts. That's USD. You get 8 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. Of course, if you get a thick insert, then you're going to get 1 less card per pack. Now, the breakdown. 154 cards. So it's 100 base veterans, 50 short printed rookie cards, and then 4 extended rookies. And I'm counting those as their own thing. I don't know if they're I don't think they're super short printed because I got one. And I almost never get super short prints, right? So we'll say 54 rookies, but it's 101 to 150. And then the last 4 have like letters for the numbers, because I think they were just kind of either they planned to put them in right away or they put them in last. I don't know. But anyways, so 54 rookie cards and then a ton of inserts and parallels. And kind of hear like my voice go down when I say that, because it's just like, oh my God, how many color variations of the same card do we need? But here's what you get in a box. You get 1 autograph or doubloons card. You get 12 inserts that are either color flow, hitting their groove, Hughes next, not who's next, Hughes next. So Upper Deck has resorted to dad jokes for the names of insert sets. Tim, later on, I'll ask you for some dad jokes that we can make into insert sets. That could be a fun subtopic or a fun future podcast. And then and/or flashy forwards inserts cards, right? So color flow, hitting the groove, Hughes next, or flashy forwards. You get 8 or 9 base set rookies, because you might get 9, you might get 8 parallel cards, and then like 1 additional rookie or rookie parallel. So that's why I said 8 or 9. So yeah, I mean, Allure, it's been a thing for a while now. A while. Speaking of a while, because I like Allure, I like OPG Platinum, I like these sets. My problem is that they just feel too similar to each other. I know they don't have the same design. I know Allure sets kind of look the same. kind of like how victory sets looked the same, or MVP sets kind of had that look, or even SP Authentic had its own kind of look, right? But with these sets, I always joke about metal fatigue. So those of you who don't know, metal fatigue, it's a noun. There's two definitions of metal fatigue. The first is a gradual weakening and eventual failure of metal caused by repeated cycles of stress, even when those stresses are far below the level that would break the metal in a single load. So you can think of like a metal bridge wearing over time and the bridge collapses. I know that sounds terrible. Try to keep things upbeat, but just saying, when the metal breaks, stuff happens, right? And that's from fatigue, metal fatigue. But there's another definition of metal fatigue, and that's the lack of enthusiasm for a new set of hockey cards that feature a foil or metallic finish due to the overabundance of similar cards such as Skybox Metal Universe, O-Pee-Chee Platinum, Stature, and Allure. So I would say that I've had metal fatigue for the past few years, because can you have too much of a good thing? Yeah, I think so. I mean, when O-Pee-Chee Platinum came out in 15-16, I was all in on it. I was excited, and I liked when Panini Prism came out in 13-14. I was into that, and actually that's a set that I'd like to think I'd still be collecting it if it was out. But then you had all these other sets come out with the similar type of look, and I guess I'm just like, it used to be like, oh, well, this is the cheap 99 cents a pack card, and this is the premium card, and then these are the super foil metallic finish premium cards. But then when you have 5 sets that kind of do the same thing, what makes one more special than the other? Or why do you get like 15 packs in this box and 8 packs in that box? And why is the price different if the cards pretty much look the same? I know I've been talking a lot. So Tim, what do you think about this? Am I going crazy, or is there something here? Or both? Could be both.
I mean, you're crazy, but that's for totally different reasons than this.
Well, I have a podcast about hockey cards. I think that makes me a little crazy.
I don't disagree with you on the fact that you A, have a podcast, and B, that the metal fatigue would fit here. Because, yeah, I mean, whether you want to call it metal or overly shiny or foily or whatever you want to call it, I mean, it is what it is. Platinum and Allure are interchangeable to a lot of people. Platinum kind of has the push a little more so than Allure does.
For being O-Pee-Chee.
Yeah. Because it's probably more popular. But, I mean, they kind of mirror each other. Metal mixes it up a little more. Skybox Metal Universe, like each year that they do that set, it kind of mixes things up. They do put a lot of foily type stuff on the cards, though. So that's kind of why it gets lumped in there. But yeah, it's a lot of sets that are very similar. I do agree with that. And Allure each year, I don't know. Anyway, just move on with what you're going to say.
Just as far as do I like the looks of all of these cards? Yeah, I do. I think I actually like the design of Allure a little bit better, and we'll get into the design, than Platinum. Because like with the Platinum, I like the rainbow parallels because they really pop. And I don't like the regular base versions because they seem kind of dark. Whereas with Allure, there's I feel like the cards pop more, like the colors pop off the cards more. The background is like that kind of shiny, like rainbow. That would be like the rainbow version of the O-Pee-Chee Platinum card. But Metal Universe has been right up my alley since it's come out again in 2021. And that's actually a set that I will build every year. So, last year I did end up buying, no, this is 25, 26. I bought a 23, 24 complete set of Allure which came out in 24, 25, if I remember correctly, because it had a Connor Bedard rookie card. And I wanted that rookie card, but I actually wanted the whole set. And I shopped around and I said, hey, you know what? Just better for me to buy the set, because it was like 150 cards. And it's not that expensive of a set to buy usually, or challenging to put together. But as far as the design goes, I feel like these cards pop. Allure kind of uses that same design over and over. You kind of have like this kind of like curved border, like at the sides and at the bottom. The Allure logo kind of big, but then you have like a nice shiny background. Unfortunately, photographs and scans don't do these cards the same justice as actually holding them in your hand and looking at them, and even trying to get the light to hit the background just right. They look cool. They look cool. I kind of almost like, if this set was like the size of O-Pee-Chee Platinum, I'd probably like it more, because I like this set more. And like how many sets come out that are like 100, 150 cards, right? A lot of them, right? So how many, for a while I had just like so many base sets. Like I have a box, like, those, you buy like, a box of computer printer paper, or you get at your office, and then you get that empty box that like the paper came in. And I love those boxes because they're good. They're just a nice size. And I have probably like 3 boxes of that size full of just base cards, and like 100 count boxes, just base sets. Like, this base set, that's 100 cards, and that base set, that's 100 cards, right? Because those are so easy to pick up, right? So yeah, you get the best players in a 100 card base set, but how many 100 card base sets that have more or less the same players do you really need, right? Or no?
So there's 2 ways to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than 2 ways, but I'm going to talk about 2 ways. If you're a set builder, they're super easy to put together.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time. Unless you're talking about a set with 100 base cards that's all super short printed, or if all the base cards are numbered, for instance, the cup. But they're generally easy to put together, 100 cards. Okay, cool. But most of those sets, to be honest, the 100 base cards are not ones that people are going to be chasing the full base sets of anyway, for the most part. They're buying the stuff to get the hits, whatever those hits may be, or they're chasing whatever the chaser cards are. Like Allure is always those 16 bits. People are always trying to find those 16-bit cards because they're like the case hit, sometimes even less than a case hit. Or the doubloons cards, those are always tough. I don't know. I'm torn, because there's a lot of sets that I like. As a set builder myself, I enjoy putting together 100 card sets. But at the same time, I also enjoy putting together 400 card sets, or 500 card sets, or 700 card sets. You name the number, I'll build it. But here's a perfect example, right? Artifacts. Artifacts comes out every year, and most people in most situations consider 1 through 100 to be the base set. When you look at these, it shows 107, depending on the year, it shows like between 170 and 250 cards as part of the base set, because they're sequentially numbered. So even though all the cards after 100 are serial numbered, they're still sequentially numbered.
Right.
So there's 101, 102, 103, 104, but then they're all serial numbered. So you get the 699s or 999s or 499s or whatever that may be, depending on that particular subset. So, those types of things, 100 cards, I'm pretty much going to stop, because I'm not going to chase down that extra stuff. In Allure, I would tend to make an exception, because the higher numbers they're short printed, but they're not serial numbered and they're not impossible. Like you could find them.
I mean, 1 per pack is pretty nice.
I'm
okay with that.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that too, with the short prints. They don't generally do quirky things with these when it comes to the checklist. Most of the time, I think since this has come out, anything past the 100 base cards is all rookies. Mm-hmm. So having the rookies, as I know your pet peeve is when you have star players short printed.
Yeah.
But having rookies short printed, I think that's to be expected in most cases anymore. So I don't mind it either. I mean, if you can pull them at that high of a frequency, then they're not that hard to find, and you can generally find them. So, I mean, plus let's face it, this is an EPAC product, right?
Yeah.
Once it hits EPAC, we can find all of these in abundance. So
right. So the like I described the base set, looks nice. The fronts look nice. The backs are just simple, 2 lines of stats. Even if the players played 15 years, they still just have 2 lines of stats plus the totals. So, but I think we say, yeah, most people don't buy cards like this for the backs, maybe like an Upper Deck Series 1, Series 2, where they try to fit in more stats. Okay, sure. But like something like
we're almost getting to the point where we can't buy any cards for the backs.
No, because especially when they like make them so far ahead of time, like MVP, where they just don't even bother with stats.
Yeah, we've gotten to the point where MVP has no stats on the back.
Yeah.
Just a blurb. Connor Bedard scored 2 goals on October 14th.
Right. And then the set went to production on October 15th for the next year's set. It's funny, like how they'll mention like some random game because they just have to put something. I call it the BS blurb because it's just like they're just putting a little bit of BS on the back of the card, the BS blurb. So rookie cards, same things. They'll put 2 years of like junior stats or college stats or whatever, and then same difference. Same kind of layout. The front, it says rookie, kind of nice and big, right over the Allure logo. Says it again on the back. Like I mentioned, there were 4 short printed rookie cards, or not short printed. They're short printed rookie cards. They're 1 per pack. But then the last 4, I just want to read you who the last 4 are.
They call them extended rookies.
Yeah. And they got
that's why they're like differently numbered.
Yeah, AR for Allure Rookie dash, and then the player's initials. So Easton Cohen of the Maple Leafs, Michael Misa of the Sharks, Matthew Schaefer of the Islanders, and Sam Dickinson of the Sharks. So those are the extended rookies, but they're still rookie cards. I mean, they're still packed in the product. So I don't know if they're necessarily harder to get. I don't think so, because I got Matthew Schaefer and I just said, oh, that's nice. Like
from everything I saw, the odds were the same on them. But
yeah, I think they are. I think they just don't. I don't know why they didn't number them 151, 152, 153, 150. I don't know why they didn't do that. Maybe just because
the only thing I saw on them, and I think it might be the same for the regular rookies, is the numbered parallels are only in hobby and on EPAC.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think the pull is the same.
Okay. So speaking of parallels, I want to talk about some of the parallels. So there's black rainbow, red rainbow, orange slice, green quartz, blue line, purple diamond, red balloons, purple horseshoes, green clovers, blue stars, yellow moons, and did I cover them all? Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was Lucky Charms. Remember that cereal?
Yeah, I think you got them all.
Magically
that was
delicious. It. Yeah. So, all right. So you got the black rainbow. You get those 1 in every other pack. So they kind of look like the normal cards, but instead of the blue on the sides, they got black on the sides. Actually, let me look at one of my black rainbow cards here. The backgrounds pretty much look the same though. Red Rainbow, you get those 1 in 5 packs. Orange Slice, you get those 1 in 12 packs. Now those kind of have like that kind of pixely background. Remember like how Panini Prism would do that a lot, or like some of the O-Pee-Chee Platinum parallels do that with the Orange Slice. The Green Quartz, those are numbered out of 99. The Blue Line, those are numbered out of 25. Purple Diamonds are numbered out of 10. Gold Glitter Bomb are numbered out of 199. Now, there are glitter bombs that are in...
You brought the glitter bombs back?
Well, but those are not in hobby. Those are Blaster exclusive or retail.
Yeah, they were retail the last time, I think, too.
Tile variations are found 1 in every 360 packs, and Golden Treasures are...
I haven't seen one of those. Did you pull one of those? A
tile variations? No, sir. All I pulled, like as far as like parallels go, all I got were black and orange. Black and red. I didn't get any orange slices. I didn't get any... I know one year I got a Blue Line of Artemi Panarin, and I'm like, this looks cool. Because again, that has kind of like that pixely disco ball type of background, which I think look cool.
I actually, like last year, I liked the black better than the base cards.
Why?
The black looked nicer.
I think when you have like that sky blue, because we're so used to colors like being tied to the uniform. So like, yeah, I could see where the black makes it look a little more like this is just the regular version. And then you'd have like a sky blue version, but instead the sky blue version is the regular version. And then the black is the parallel. So yeah,
I felt like the black should have been, because the black looked so much nicer, I felt like the black should have been more of a harder to pull type card.
Doesn't always work that way though. You know, sometimes you go, this one's really nice, and it's like pretty easy to find. Yeah. You know, every year I say to myself, I'm going to try to get all the color variations of a player, somebody that I collect.
The rainbow, as the kids say.
Chase the rainbow, yeah. And I don't think I've ever successfully done that in any set, not even counting the gold 1/1s or whatever, or if it's a black 1/1 or depending on what the set is. And not even like the autograph versions, but there's always like some like numbered to 5 version. And then I go, okay, do I really want to spend over $100 for this little side project? You know what I mean? Like if it's like, okay, the base version is $1 and the black version is $2 and the red rainbow is $5 and the orange slice is $10. You go, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, this one's numbered to 99. It's a little more. You trade for it, whatever. But then there's always just like that one that you just go, I ain't paying that. You know what I mean? For like a little side quest, not even like, you know, then I go, if I'm going to spend like $100 on like a colored parallel, I might as well buy like a Young Guns rookie card that I need. You know, put it towards something that's maybe a little bit higher value than a little like side project, if that makes sense.
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. Like, you know, I'm mostly a team collector, so I have the Penguins on my list every year for pretty much every set that's out there. And I can tell you, since its inception in 2019, I have not come close to filling all of the rainbow spots for any of, you know, the players. I think 2020, like 2020, 21 Allure, I think is where I came the closest to filling like a full 9-pocket page of all of colors of a certain player. And that's not even all the, you know, the variations though either. Because as you go through the variations, I think you're talking about like 16 or 17 different variations, and that doesn't even count printing plates if you count those. But I would always do like, okay, I'm going to put the base card here, then I'll put the regular rainbow here, and then the black rainbow and the red rainbow and the sunset and the yellow taxi and the orange slice and the leopard print and the blue china and the double rainbow. And I would figure out whatever the 9 easiest ones would be to get.
Right.
And I would put those in the page, and then each page would be the same. Because that's one thing about Allure, it's such a small checklist. Most of the years for the Penguins, there's only 5 to 6 players on the checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes even less. I think 21, 22 had only
100 players, 32
4.
teams. You're looking at about 3 to 4 cards per team.
Yeah, I think 21, 22 had 4. Actually, I think the last 3 or 4 years I've had 4. The first couple seasons had
Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and one other.
In 24, it had Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and 3 rookies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the rookies, yeah.
In 23, it was Erik Karlsson, Tristan Jarry, Crosby, and John Gruden. That's all that was in the base that year. And the funny part is they also included Brian Rust that year too, but he only had a color flow, which I always found interesting. He didn't have a base card, but he was in the color flow.
What year was that?
That was 23-24.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was Karlsson, Jarry, Crosby. There was John Gruden as the rookie, and then Brian Rust had a color flow card. Yeah. So they did the same thing the previous year, but it was Gensel, Jarry, Crosby, and Philip Hallander as a rookie. Chris Letang had a color flow, but no base card. So, yeah, just weird thing. But yeah, I try to get at least what I consider the 9 easiest parallels to fill. I do the same thing with Platinum too. So.
Yeah, I what's it called? A couple years ago, I finally bought this is an old set. I bought a 94-95 score set, gold version. They only did series 1 that year. I already had the base version. I had the regular version forever, and the platinum team sets were mail-aways. And over time, I had acquired all of them on eBay. This is something I was kind of picking away at over like the last 10 years or so. And then finally, like, I found somebody who had a gold set, like the whole set that was gold minus oh no, actually I think all the sets were gold. I don't know if they did gold. Yeah, I think they did gold checklists also. But anyways, so I put that in pages, and I was so excited because I did like card 1, the regular version, then the gold version, and then the platinum version. Next line, then the card number 2, regular version, gold version, platinum version. And it was cool up until a point, because then there are certain cards that don't have platinum versions. So then I had to put something in those pockets to just kind of fill the space. But yeah, I mean, it's fun.
That's how my upper deck binders have gotten.
Oh yeah.
For my base upper deck team sets, because upper deck's gotten to the point where now there's a million parallels of the base card.
Right.
For a while, there were only like 2 or 3, not counting the printing plates.
Of course.
Time we went with having the base card, and then we had the high gloss, and then we had the exclusive. Right. There really weren't that many other ones other than that.
Yeah, you had the 1 out of 100 and the 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
And they were all pretty findable.
Right. And now we've got, in addition to those, introduce EPAC, which now you've got either the gold foil or silver foil, depending on the year. Then you have the sparkle or whatever they're calling speckled, whatever they're calling it that year. And then in the last few years, they added the deluxe, and now there's the clear cut, and it's just, you just keep going down the list. So like my binders have gone from having 1 page with 3 parallels in each line to each year the base card has to have 3 pages.
Right, just for that one version of the card,
Yeah.
that all the
Yeah.
versions of that one card.
It's gotten ridiculous.
Yeah, and I guess that's okay because I mean we talked about this before, and we just basically said, look, parallels give the player chasers, the player collectors, another card to chase, and then like you said, it gives the breakers another hit, right? Like you didn't just get base cards, you also got the black version and the orange slice version. So give me $30 or give me $50 or whatever they charge for the spot. Now, speaking of color flow, these are obviously back. I think this is like probably the thing that Allure is known for, right? I feel like they've been doing these since they started the set. They look kind of neat. If you get 4 of the same player, which I didn't get 4 of the same player in my box, that's probably impossible. I couldn't even find 4 of the same player like images to like. So I just grabbed what I could find. But yeah, I mean, I think my problem, so you get the red orange, those you find at 1 in every other pack. Get orange yellow, you find 1 in every 7 packs. You get yellow green, which you find 1 in every 7 packs. And then you get blue green, which you find 1 in every 18 packs. So the red orange ones, you get 4 of those in a box. But then the green blue ones, you get not even 1 per box, not even 1 for 2 boxes. You might get 1 in every 3 boxes. So that's probably the only reason why I've never really bothered to try to put together a color flow of a player that I collect, because of the one that was going to cost me a lot of money. And I was just like, it's okay. Although it can't be that much money because like you said, this is an EPAC product. So eventually they come to EPAC and then the prices go down.
For the most part, they do. But the color flows, especially the harder to pull ones, those still maintain a pretty good amount. The yellow greens you can come across a little more. The green blue one, though, a lot of people know that they're harder to pull, and I think they keep their prices high on those because they know they're difficult. I only have one, and it was the Brian Rust. I have all the Brian Rust ones from the 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at my cards, I got an orange yellow, I got a red orange. Actually, I got 3 red oranges, a yellow green, an orange yellow, and then I got a parallel, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, so I didn't get any of the tougher one or the green blue. And I don't know if I've probably gotten one in the past, but like I said, I've just never really been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put this together because it'd be a player I don't collect. And then if I say, oh, I'd like to put this together for like say Patrick Kane, well, everybody's trying to do him, or Connor Bedard or Sidney Crosby, then you know what I mean, then it just gets that much harder. So
yeah, 22-23 is when they started that. So the first few years they didn't have that yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, 21-22 they didn't have it. But 22-23. Oh wait, maybe they did. I don't think oh, you know what? Yeah, they did. Because they had Crosby that year.
Yeah. So I think we joked about this because there's 4 cards and you can't really put them in a page because there's 4 of them. So
it's hard to display them all together and they don't look right in pages.
Yeah, unless you put them in like one of those 4 card holders that like, you know, like a screw down, like those big screw downs that like you have one behind you that has like 3 cards. They also make one with like 4 cards that just do 4 across.
Yeah. That's too much work for me.
Well, I mean,
even though I do want to display them because they look cool together. Like I took them in top loaders and lined them up. They look kind of cool. But yeah, in a binder, it kind of loses its thing. You're like, oh, wow, that's neat. And then you have to go down. So you're going across and then, yeah.
Yeah.
Although I could make like a top loader and tape it to the 4th spot and have it bend underneath. So when you open the page, you can flip it out.
Right.
I could do that.
Or, you know what you could do? Hear me out on this. You could put them in 8 pocket Bowman size pages.
Oh, like the side loader ones where you can put them sideways.
Yeah. So you put 4 and another 4, and of course you'd have to rotate the binder to look at it.
Right.
But
it's not a bad idea.
Actually, I did that with my 74-75 World Hockey Association OPG set, because those are those sideway cards.
Yeah.
And I did that, and then now I think I'm probably gonna go back and put them in 9-pocket pages, because I'm in the process of reorganizing my binders and trying to downsize a little bit here and there, and try to like put not necessarily more sets per binder, but just try to reorganize things. So even though I like the way those cards look, if I put them in 9-pocket pages and then just rotated the binder, they look the same. Same with like my 1985 Topps football, the black border football cards. They have like the sideways photo.
Yeah, because that's how I have my Steeler binder for that year. So that's not a bad idea.
You put those in 8-pocket pages?
Yeah. Yeah. I have my 60, what is it, 68s, 68, 69 Topps.
Right.
I have those like that too in my Penguin binder. So it's not a bad idea. I think I still have some of those lying around. I didn't even think of that. Good call.
That's funny. I didn't even think about doing that with my 68, 69 top set. I don't know why. I just didn't. I think just because when I was putting that together, it was a card at a time, and I was like a kid, and I just I probably started building that set in like 1990, and I don't think I finished it till like 2004. But when I bought it, the WHA set, I bought it as a complete set. So then I was like, boom, 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 just put it in the Bowman pages.
I wonder if they even had those kind of pages in 1990.
The Bowman pages? Yeah, they absolutely
ones like that.
Yeah, they did for the bigger cards. Because remember, I mean, like we think of 89 Bowman, but I mean there was like the 50s, 60s Bowman cards that were that big size.
Guess I had limited supplies where I shopped back then.
Well, I do know that like the 89 Topps Bowman baseball set, or Bowman baseball, which was put out by Topps, on the wrapper there was a special offer for special pages for these cards. So they were selling the 8-pocket pages directly to consumers. I
just stuck all mine in regular 9 pockets and let the tops all bend.
The stuff we did as kids, right? Or I thought you were going to say you just took some scissors and cut them down to size.
No. Even I'm not that much of a monster.
You monster. Okay. So there's another insert set called Hue's Next. Hue is another word for color. So I guess the idea is that they got these colored lines behind them, like these colored wavy lines, and there's like blue parallel, green parallel, auto parallel, spectrum parallels, gold spectrum parallels. And like I said, if a dad joke could become a hockey card, this would be it. And see, I would have made it about the Hughes brothers, and it would be Hue's Next, Hughes, and it would have had Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes and Quinn Hughes. It'd be a pretty small insert set, but still.
And that's actually what I thought it was the first time I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Until I had to look. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
I tell a lot of dad jokes, but I don't think I would even stoop to that level.
Did you think of another dad joke that can make a good hockey card insert set?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Well,
I have to give that some thought.
Yeah. Listeners, if you have a dad joke that would make a great name of an insert set, feel free to reach out and let us know. You know how to find me, and Tim's pretty much deleted all his social media accounts, so you could still email him.
Or you can just send me a letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll respond if you just send me a letter. Care of Puck Junk. It'll get to me eventually.
So more other inserts and hits. There's Hitting Their Groove, which has a groovy looking font on it. Looks kind of 70s. Players cut out more trippy psychedelic background colored backgrounds. Flashy forwards. Color Flow Full Rainbows, which kind of take that color flow You just kind of scrunch it down to just like one card, so you can kind of get all the colors in one background. And then doubloons. My box did not have an autograph. It did have doubloons though, and it's nice. It's shiny on the front. It's shiny on the back. It's about twice as thick as a card. I mean, you get these one out of every 9 boxes, so I guess that's good.
What's a case? 10?
I imagine so.
Yeah, so if a case is 10, it's basically a case hit.
Yeah.
At
Well,
that
the
point.
odds that I saw published are 1 out of 72 packs. You get 8 packs in a box. 8 times 9 is 72, if I remember my times tables correctly. So one of these in every 9 boxes, which, yeah, it's pretty.
9 boxes, 72. You know what? I bet it's one of those 18 box cases where there's like a 9 box inner. So they're probably two case boxes inside a full case. I bet that's how the math works out on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I should see. Let me go try to buy a case.
You're gonna buy a case right now?
No, I'm just
live
gonna
on the air. Wow, this is must-see TV.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. No, I'm just gonna try to see what they if they here. Let's see here. 25-26 Allure Hobby Box 18. Oh, that's a box break. Here we go. 9 box case. 18 box case, 32 spot break.
Yeah, so there's 18 full, and there's 9 in an inner box. They call them inner boxes.
Yeah, so you have an inner case, a 9 box case is $1,265, and then the 18 box case is $2,524. Okay, so I get it now.
For $2,524, and you could have 2 doubloons.
Yeah. Okay.
Who did you get for your doubloon? Ryan Leonard?
Ryan Leonard.
That should be worth at least $1,000, right?
$100 last I checked.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, well, I mean,
instant deflation.
Well, yeah, once it hits EPAC, right?
Well, no. Once you opened the packet, it revealed Ryan Leonard as your hit.
Right, yeah.
No offense to Ryan Leonard, but
no, he's having a decent season. And like I said, I looked it up on eBay because I said, all right, what is it? Is this a $5 hit? And I'm like, oh, okay, it's like 80 to 100-ish. So not bad.
Like other than the Broberg auto on the screen right there right now, I would take either of those other 2 guys as a doubloon over Ryan Leonard, but that's just
I get it, yeah. But so some of the other notable hits, there's impressions, which are 1 in every 600 packs, and then there's 16-bit, which is 1 out of every 720 packs. So
are they just called impressions this time? They used to be artistic impressions, but
unless I saw it wrong, but
no, they may have just shortened the name.
Could be. But let me do some quick math. 720 divided by 8. So you get a 16-bit 1 in every 90 boxes.
It's tough.
Yeah, and divide that by 18. So that's 1 in every 5 big cases. That's too bad because, me being a dude that likes the old school video games, like many guys our age, I guess. So I guess I'm not unique, and I guess that's why we're all kind of chasing after them or would chase after them. But yeah, they're so hard to get. They're not even fun. You know what I mean? If there's 1 per box, okay, maybe that's too easy. If it was 1 in every 3 boxes, be like, okay, this is a little more challenging, but it's doable. But 1 in every, what did I say, 18 boxes? It's not. Or 5 cases, yeah. So
I mean, anyway. Those are the draws. I mean, those are the things, the potential to pull that. That's your Wonka golden ticket right there.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's got to be something in the product that's going to drag people in for something, and that seems to be it every year for this. is those 16-bit cards.
Yeah, even people who don't collect hockey like those cards. Like that's almost like our Kaboom or our Downtown. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Like that, like the 16-bit cards, although I don't know a lot of non-hockey people who necessarily chase them, but I think they kind of almost have that kind of notoriety, although nowhere nearly as popular or as pricey.
Yeah, they have that same allure.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I was hoping so.
Yeah. So there's also Spectrum parallels of pretty much all of these insert sets. So yeah, not only are there different colored versions of the insert sets, but then there's also the Spectrum parallels that kind of have that pixelated disco ball-y type of background. You got for color flow, hitting their groove, flashy forwards, and hues next. Have those. I like them. You said I think you saw these and you covered your eyes immediately.
Yeah, as the third one says, it's pretty flashy.
Yeah.
Those are a bit much with all of that sparkle spectrum.
But see, I like the color flow, but I also like the spectrum, and they're serial numbered. And I mean, whatever.
Well,
again, nothing I would probably break the bank on. I like the way they look. For a little while, when Panini Prism was doing similar cards like this back in 13-14, I was trying to collect them all, and that was ridiculous because I gave up after 7 years, but can't blame a guy for trying.
Like the red and the blue and the purple and the cracked ice and all those?
Well, there was the red, and then there was like the pixelated red, and then there was the blue, and then there was like the pixelated blue.
Yeah, there was the red Prism.
Yeah.
And then there was the red Pulsar.
Pulsar, that was it, yes.
And I don't remember if it was the Prism or the Pulsar, but the red one was a Target exclusive and the blue one was a Walmart exclusive.
And I was buying blasters at both, trying to just get what I could.
I think it might have been the Pulsar that was the exclusive one.
Yeah.
But then at all the events, they gave out like the cracked ice versions and all of like the black packs. And
there were green versions and purple versions. And it was. Yeah.
The green versions came from Tractor Supply. The yellow versions were from Dollar Tree. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
No. Tractor. Yeah. Farm and Fleet has hockey cards.
Although Ace Hardware does sell trading cards.
Just baseball.
I think they have football too.
I saw baseball cards at a freaking Lowe's home improvement store. Or maybe it was a Home Depot. I think it was at Lowe's though. I think I was like waiting. I think I was returning something and I was just waiting at that customer service desk. And like when you look down, they have like the candy bars and the snacks and stuff. And they had like an empty display box of Topps baseball cards. And it's like, oh, okay.
We're at that point.
We're kind of back to where we were in the 90s.
We're getting there.
All right. So the good, the bad, the ugly, about 25-26 Allure Hockey Cards. So we'll start with the good, obviously, because that's the order they go in. You get one autograph for doubloons per box. And I like getting one autograph per box. I didn't get an autograph, but I got a card that you get one in every inner case. So I guess that's okay. I guess I can't be too crabby about that. 8 rookie cards per box, so like 1 per pack. Spectrum inserts, I like the way they look. Maybe not enough to like chase them all. But maybe, I guess, if you like the color flow, then it's only natural that you would also get the Spectrum versions. Or if you're going to get the hitting their groove card of this player, then of course you get the Spectrum versions. No redemption cards from what I could tell, which is great. I mean, we've talked about redemptions being a necessary evil, and there is something cool about getting the card instead of getting the card that's saying you're going to get the card.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to stick autos in a product, you definitely want to avoid that as much as possible.
Right. Especially since a lot of times, I mean, not a lot of times, but sometimes you don't get what they don't give you what they promised you. Sometimes it turns out for the better, sometimes it doesn't, but
Now, I did notice on the checklist, not to interrupt what you're saying, but I noticed
okay.
on the checklist that a lot of those autos show as either short printed or super short printed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing they probably sent out X number and only got so many back to be able to spread across the product. So,
Right.
and I don't know if that was pre-designated, like, yeah, we're going to intentionally make these short printed, or if it's just the way it worked out.
Right. And then it's a relatively easy set to complete. I mean, look, I got a box. I had 31 veterans and 9 rookie cards in my box, right? So you look at this, if there's 54 rookies and you get 8, you would need to buy about 7 boxes. I mean, okay, so that's kind of expensive. But like I said, this is a set that you could probably find on eBay. You could definitely find the 1 through 100 inexpensive. You could probably find the whole 154 card set probably relatively affordable because people are going to buy, cases, and they're going to look for some of those harder to find hits, the doubloons, the autographs, and so forth. So I think that's okay, especially since it's got 54 different rookies. So I mean, a third of it is like rookies. Bad color flow. I talked about the varying odds, and I'm like, should it really be that hard to complete? But then again, I guess 1 in 18 packs is not the end of the world. Maybe I should also say, why does 16-bit, which is like the coolest idea to come out of this in a while, have to be so hard? Ugly. The price, $18 a pack or $2.25 a card. Too many parallels, and then, like I said, metal fatigue. And you think that this set is not what it used to be?
Yeah, as just to bring up what I said, I think the set jumped the shark a few years ago. Meaning it kind of lost its luster and became less of a novelty, I think. When it came out in 2019-20, I mean, it was different. Like there wasn't, there was still platinum, but this was the first alternative that was kind of shiny, different, like mirror type shiny. And the design was decent. I like that, those little like tick marks on the edges of the border and stuff the first year it came out. And then 21-22, it was still okay. I think the design had too many of those like weird compass looking lines on the edges and stuff that were a little distracting, but it was still okay. 21-22, I liked that set. That was the one that had the weirdly distorted NHL shield in the background, where it looked like it was the shield but squished and twisted. I kind of liked that design. But then 22-23 came out and it was too much. There was too much going on. It was too busy, I think. And then the following year, it was totally different. Like the players were kind of off-centered. It was the player was like no longer the feature focus. They were kind of offset. The design kind of took up too much of it was just different. Like they tried something outside. I don't think it worked for this set. And like I said, I think this is also, or I think last year's was kind of too much on the design too. This year if you look on it, the 25-26 cut back a little bit on the design functionality. But I think there's a line. It can be interesting and simple, and it can be too busy. But I feel like this is boring and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look at this Allure and I'm like, where have I seen this design before? I don't know that I have, which just tells me it's too close to something else. And I haven't quite put my finger on what that is yet. So,
right. Yeah, I mean, it's an all right looking set. I mean, I don't know. Like the one year that I bought the complete set, it was because it had the Bedard rookie card, and I wanted his Allure rookie card, and it was just like, well, I kind of like this set, and I'll just get the set anyway. You know what I mean? Like I even though I collect certain players, I like sets, and part of me is kind of like, well, all right, just hypothetically speaking, it's like, well, I could spend $80 on this one rookie card. Not saying it was an $80 card, just saying I could spend 80 on this rookie card or 100 for the full set. I'm probably just going to buy the full set for 100 and then just enjoy having all the cards. Whereas some people are just like, no, I just want that one card. I just want that one card. You know what I mean? Like, and they're not interested in the other cards, and that's okay. But I want the sets. I like sets. So, but I mean, this year,
Collect what you like, right?
Collect what you like. I mean, but like this year, I look at this and I go, I'm going to just wait for Metal Universe. Because, I mean, I did do 23-24 Allure, and I did do 23-24 Metal Universe, because I'm going to do Metal Universe every year. But I skipped OPG Platinum. And I think this year I don't know, I haven't, I obviously got to decide when the set comes out. If I like it enough to build the set, to buy the set, to get just the base set, whatever. I mean, look, if a base set came my way for 10 or 20 bucks, yeah, I'd buy it. That's a no-brainer. Complete set, I mean, if, maybe after the hype around these rookies die down a little bit, and then then it's maybe affordable to buy the 154 card set. Yeah, okay. But but otherwise, yeah, it's not like something that I'm like, oh my God, I have to add this to my collection. Like the part of me that sees like Metal Universe and goes, oh my God, this is so awful, like awful, like with spaceships and nebulas and supernovas, and that's like ridiculous, and I love ridiculous, right? And like you said, this isn't it isn't really memorable. Like it reminds you of something, but nothing in particular. So it kind of looks like everything, which means that it doesn't really stand out on its own.
Yeah, I think for me, I need to see these in hand and slap them in a binder and see how they look first before I decide if this is something I want to put together.
Right.
If I come into a box, great. I don't buy a lot of wax anymore. So we'll see. I may build it 3 years from now. Which I've done on many, many sets. 3 years down the road, I decide, you know what, I'm going to put that set together.
Yeah, when the price kind of comes down because people have moved on 2 times to 2 years ahead.
Yeah, I'll certainly collect the Penguin cards, that's for sure.
Of course, but I mean, that's part of the joy of being a team collector or player collector, is that you'll still get like that, just the taste of that set.
You know, it's becoming harder and harder, not to change the subject, but
that's all right.
Final thought.
Yeah.
It's becoming harder and harder to collect base cards.
Why do you say that?
Because people don't keep them.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't go on. It's not like you can go on eBay and buy base cards economically.
No.
Even if you get cheap shipping, it's still, you're not getting it economically. And most other sites don't bother with base cards. ComC has been really the only place where I've ever been able to accumulate there in Sport Lots. And Sport Lots, I talk about it all the time. It's a great idea. Horrible designs website.
Right.
And ComC is getting to the point where we're at COVID level delays on shipping at this point again.
Right.
For obvious reasons, which we've discussed. But so it's like, it's becoming harder and harder. Plus with EPAC, right? Everything goes on ComC, and now maybe the authority, maybe they'll start doing stuff, but none of the base cards, because when you open EPACs, the base cards aren't actual cards.
Right.
Only the hits and the parallels and all of that get moved on to actual cards. So getting the base, you got to get the actual packs.
Right.
Like the hobby boxes or retail boxes to get the base. And people aren't sending a lot of base to sites like ComC.
Because there's not a lot of money in it, because ComC, I mean, they told me that the magic number is, $2 and up.
Sure, because just like anywhere else, after all the fees and all of this kind of stuff, and granted, you're paying for convenience, they take the cards in, they store them for you, they ship them for you, they do all of that stuff, they scan them, they do all of that. So you're paying for all of that.
Right.
Or eBay, you're not paying for all of that, but you're paying to have 1 billion people look at your view.
Right.
Look at your listing.
But most people will sell base cards for 99 cents and then they'll say like buy 2 or more and save. And then they might knock 10% off if you buy 2. They might knock off like, 50% if you buy 10, because they know they're not really $1 cards. They're 50-cent cards or quarter cards or whatever. But, you got to make it make sense economically. And there've been times where like I've like completed base sets for like $7 or $8, just finding one dealer that has them all on eBay. And I go, yeah, it sucks to spend $7 to build this set, but what alternative do I have? I'm not going to go to a show and find these for a quarter or for 50 cents, So I go, all right, so I'm spending $7 instead of $3.50. All right, not the end of the world, but yeah, it is harder,
It's definitely getting harder. I want to fire back up the trade machine, but I don't know. I'm just getting to that point where I'm in one of those bubbles. I'm in like a collecting bubble where I'm just trying to do too many things in here instead of going outside the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's okay.
That was just something I was thinking.
Sometimes we have to retreat into our bubble. I mean, there are times where I'm really active. I do a lot of sticker trading when I'm like building the new album, but then there's times where I'm just like not like even engaged in that, where like I might, just be on other things and not really thinking about trading or thinking about whatever, or I'm thinking about the next card show that I'm going to do. And everything else is just kind of falls by the wayside. And that just happens sometimes. I think that's normal. You chase too many things, you'll get nothing done. So then you just have to chase 1 or 2 things and hope to get those done.
Always forward, never backward.
Yeah, some fortune cookie logic there.
Oh, just something to clarify earlier. I did not delete all my social media. I'm just not using it. There's a difference.
Oh, but it sounds much more dramatic when I say
it can sound dramatic, but it's not the case. You'll still find all my profiles. It's just if you say something to me, I'm probably not going to respond. So don't think I'm ignoring you. I just don't see you because I'm not using all of the stuff because it's all extremely toxic and I'm tired of it.
So when you say you don't see them, you mean you don't acknowledge their existence, or you mean
I'm not logging in, looking at X. I don't use Instagram. I don't ever log into Facebook.
Right.
What else is there? I go on Reddit and look at the hockey cards that people post because there's lots and lots of it, and I could only look at just that hockey cards and see what people are posting and ignore all the craziness that goes on elsewhere.
Right.
You can't do that on any of the other platforms anymore. They force you to look at everybody else's stuff, which I don't want to do.
Right.
And that's part of the problem. So, you can find me. You can find me on Trading Card Database. You can message me through there if you want. You can send me an email. You can get me through Puck Junk. You can tell Sal you're trying to find me, and he'll tell me. Well, maybe he will.
People have done that before, so yes, well, I will tell them.
Works.
It does work.
If you have my number, call me or text me. If you don't have my number and you have my email, you can email me. If you don't have any of that, well, depends on who you are. You may one day have it. And that's that.
And that's that. Okay, then. Well, thank you for listening to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. As always, if you've enjoyed this show, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you have a moment, write us a review or leave a comment on whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you're listening to this. If you could leave us a comment or leave us a review or give us a rating, that would be super helpful. If you'd like to support the show, you could do so by purchasing a t-shirt at shop.puckjunk.com. And until next time, collect what you like.